Back in Las Vegas with David Kahn, the president of basketball operations for the Minnesota Timberwolves. You talked a little bit about the plan in place to change the philosophy in terms of what you're doing on the floor. How do you go about changing culture as well after a 15-win season? Al Jefferson had been a part of the suffering there in Minnesota for quite a while. He's out of the equation now. You've got Kurt Rambis in for his second year. How do you address that? That's such an intangible thing to deal with.
And it doesn't happen overnight. I thought that we started last season, even though there was no improvement in terms of wins and losses, but our facilities, our practice court, our weight room needed to be upgraded. They were. We modernized our players' lounge. We did new things that had never been done before in terms of, things that are just done in the NBA by routine but weren't being done in Minnesota. We have breakfast and lunch now, before and after practice. We needed to get to a mindset of hard work and organization and attention to detail, and frankly, I don't think the organization really reflected that. But you can't just snap your fingers and say, oh, we're going to be a better culture now. It takes months, years of doing things in a routine and a disciplined fashion before you really have that. And you do have to start having some success on the court for everybody to really buy into it. And I think that we'll be better this year. We're in a ridiculously tough conference, and the West is still really loaded and really stacked. So we know our time is still a couple years away, but I do believe we'll be a much better ball club this year.
A very competitive division as well.
Yeah, David, and I know you spoke a little bit about this because you talked about his passing, but I'm still intrigued with Darko Milicic. What do you see that no one else sees that Darko has? What do you see that he brings to the table and that can come out under your teams?
I think that Darko came over here way too early. I think he made a terrible mistake and should have never been picked second in the draft. However, the people that picked him second in the draft saw the talent and the skill that he has. And he went through a very rough patch in Detroit. He was just way too immature and young to really handle the NBA lifestyle. When he went to Orlando, he started to play pretty well. And I spoke to Brian Hill about this, and Brian liked him a lot. But they went in a different direction that summer when they signed Richard Lewis, had renounced him. Then he goes to Memphis. It's not a great situation there. And he goes to New York, and for whatever reason, Mike D'Antoni chose not to play him. With us, it was like manna from heaven. I mean, he's 7'1", legitimately. He moves fluidly like a forward. He's got it. I haven't seen a big man pass like him. He really does pass like Vlade in that respect. You can see the
Vlade Divac.
Absolutely.
Whoa.
He's a great passing big man. And Vlade will be the first one to tell you that. Vlade's known about the kid since he grew up in Serbia, 70 miles north of Belgrade. So nobody is jumping up and down yet. What Darko needs to do is put a whole season together, But he's gotten married. He has a boy. I think that he's much more mature than he was when he broke in the league, and we expect him to have a decent little season. And I think he has a great chance of being our starting center.
Yeah, and I asked that question, not thinking of him the way that you did, but one thing that, every guy that's played this game knows is that all it takes is for someone to believe in you and put you in a position for success. So I'll definitely be looking forward to watching his growth with you guys this year.
Well, and I think that your career is somewhat indicative. I mean, what year was it that you really felt like you were in your own in the league?
Yeah, I'm not really sure, but we're not talking about me and Darko at the same time. No.
But not until you got to Sacramento. Did your careers take off?
Well, I don't want to talk about me. We're talking to you, and we're not going to talk about me and Darko in the same sentence.
I'm not suggesting, Chris, that your career mirrored it.
Joking,
but it takes time for some of these guys. Everybody's so impatient.
And the fact that he's young and the fact that he's tall, it's just, you just want to know when other teams is giving up on a guy kind of or not played them for reasons or behind the scenes we don't know. And so just want to know what it was with him that you saw, and definitely be looking forward to seeing that this year.
Do you think stability and belief is the missing ingredients? Are the missing ingredients?
And I think style of play. I think he bought it. The type of game that Kurt plays for some people is hard to kind of pick up. We play a lot of elements of the triangle, and a lot of the things that Chris's team ran in Sacramento had some of those elements. It took Darko 2 days to pick up what many of the players needed literally 2 months to pick up.
The NBA will be watching. David, we appreciate the time. David Kahn, president of basketball operations for the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Thank you very much for having me.
Join us here at the Cox Pavilion.
Good luck.
Your T-Wolves up by